Warning, this podcast contains Vixen. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for Arrow Season 4, Episode 15, Taken. I'm your host, Dom. With me, my co-host, Rachel.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
So,
it's so weird doing this and it's daylight still.
Right? And no Clio.
And no Clio.
This show started off as the one-woman podcast. It was Clio by herself. And now there's no Clio. No, Clio had a little accident today. And she's quite alright. She's fine. And she'll be back March, what is it? 24th, when Arrow comes back on March 22nd. 23rd. Flash is the 22nd. Arrow's the 23rd. Our podcast is the day after. So yeah.
And she's not here for the one episode. I was angry at all the women in this episode.
See, and I was really hoping to get Cleo's reaction to Vixen because
you guys watched the
we watched Vixen. Did you happen to catch the animated series? So
no, I didn't.
What did you think of the introduction to Vixen without that?
Oh, I liked her. Yeah.
You thought everything was explained okay? You didn't have an issue with her showing up? It felt normal.
No. Since I knew she was coming and I knew she was part of the anime, so the little jokes were just like, ha ha, funny.
Yeah. So I had to rewind. when Ollie goes, we had an animated encounter last year. I was just like, oh my god. Oh my god.
Boom.
Now, granted, the Vixen animated series took place this year. It came out this year. It wasn't a couple months ago. It actually came out. In the timeline, it fit about a year. It was, I forget, there was an actual episode from Flash that it was tied. It was immediately after. It was something to do with the particle accelerator, but it wasn't immediately after the particle accelerator. It was a couple weeks after. So it was somewhere around episode 7 or 8 of the season 1 of The Flash is when it took place. So around the same time for season 3 of Arrow. So
yeah, the only thing that made me want to go watch maybe the anime series was to get maybe a little bit more of her background. Yeah.
I mean, it just basically told the bare bones of her background. We didn't get too much on it.
Well, in this one, they allude to a lot of her background about her foster parents and who kind of what her parents ran from. That her parents were some kind of, I don't know. It just seemed like her parents were some kind of magical people or something. So I didn't know.
Very briefly touched on it in the animated series. Yeah. You honestly almost got more from what they told on Arrow because there was a lot of action scenes and stuff like that in the cartoon. So
there's just okay, so her parents were running from something and they gave her the amulet, so they were some kind of powerful people.
Yeah, it was kind of cool how they tied everything, back into the magic, and they're like, oh well, the only one I know magic is Amari. She's got the totem and the necklace.
Did they even mention her parents' names? Because I have a theory.
I don't believe so. No. Okay.
Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
Maybe.
Because
would be interesting.
Would be interesting because she, got a totem, and usually these people, hello, yeah. It wouldn't be the first time they had a kid.
That is true. If you watch Legends Tomorrow, you see that they did have a kid. So, but yeah, it was kind of cool that she had the tie to the magic. She's like, oh, I have a totem. Maybe that means that Dark has a totem. And he, in fact, did. And that knowledge really ended up helping them this episode. They've destroyed his totem, so Dark is completely powerless now.
Well, yeah, and having Lance kind of say, I did see something like that, and I could draw it for you, basically.
Right. So that was really cool, and Dark is kind of... I don't think we're done with Dark, He doesn't have his powers, but he's you could still see he was putting up a bit of a fight when Ollie was fighting him in hand-to-hand combat. Don't forget, he is trained. He knew Ra's al Ghul, that whole thing.
I think over the years, he depended way too much on his magic, and so he didn't keep up with his training kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's rusty at it. I think he depended. So it was like, as soon as his magic was gone, he was like, oh crap.
Yeah. But like we see right at the start of not the immediate start of the episode, but really close to the beginning of the episode, we saw Dark taunting Ollie, and Felicity, and being like, oh, nice wheelchair. Maybe you should get a motorized one. And, then he drops the bombshell of William to Felicity. And I was like, oh, shit.
I was like, and now it's out.
And she did not take that well at all.
No, okay. I know. Okay, I know she's mad. She has every right to be mad. But he explained it to her what happened. And even after Samantha told her and explained everything that happened, she was still pissed. It's like, seriously.
No, she kind of understood. She did. She was angry. Rightfully so. I mean, it's a big secret like this. And she even goes, oh, do you mind if I tell Barry? Oh, Barry knows? Malcolm knows? Thea knows? Like, you might as well just give me a list of people that don't know. So if it was really everyone didn't know, I think Felicity would have been able to grasp that a little bit more.
Well, see,
but it was the fact that like
Malcolm
3 or 4 other people already knew.
Well, Malcolm knowing wasn't his fault because he didn't tell Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
But Malcolm knows everything, so being Ra's al Ghul and all that kind of shit. And then, of course, Malcolm's going to tell Thea. Well, not really, he didn't tell Thea, but Thea figured it out. No one told her. So technically, Ollie didn't tell these people.
Right. And Angel Cassidy in chat is saying Laurel took it better than Felicity.
Yes. Really? Right? But, and even Barry, he didn't tell Barry, even before he went back into time to fix it. He didn't tell Barry whose DNA this was.
Right.
So he didn't tell Barry. Everyone just kind of put the puzzle pieces together. So technically, Ollie never told them.
Yeah.
So why should she get pissed for people figuring it out before her?
Yeah. I mean, but she doesn't know all the circumstances around it all.
Yeah, but she likes to jump to a lot of them.
She does, but I can't blame her either, because it's just like the way she found out was terrible, and then when they're like discussing what to do, it's just like, oh, all these other people know, like, go fuck yourself. Like, really? Like that. I kind of get it. I'd be upset if I was in her position. Like, you didn't tell me you had a kid, but all these other people knew. Like, I don't know. I get it. I understand both sides. It's difficult no matter what.
I mean, it was at that time, it was a heated time, and it wasn't the time and place for him to explain that he didn't tell these people.
Right.
It would have been a long explanation. And for her to get all pissy at that time because he didn't tell, instead of letting him explain stuff and let him tell things how it happened, is kind of shitty on her part.
Yes. That was not the time to do it. It was afterwards. And we kind of saw that in the bookend of the episode. This episode was more of like a Felicity kind of episode. It was like you saw the very beginning of the episode, Felicity trying to walk and failing, coming to terms with it. And then the end of the episode, Felicity able to walk.
Yeah, and she walks her asses right out.
And just literally walks out the door.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think what's with all these shows lately? They're just having women that are pissing me off.
I don't know. She breaks off the wedding. It's like we kind of suspected when we saw the flashback that this was the reason why. Right? Because we saw in that flashback of Felicity in the limo and there was no ring on the finger. We knew this.
Yeah, but still, I think she's making a mountain out of a molehill, really.
Yeah.
She knew seriously, she knew how he was when they got in this relationship. And to try to change someone, I mean, he's trying. He's legitimately trying. And to try to make him change faster than he's able to and expect different outcome is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just bugs me. But I know they did it because they wanted, the conflict. They wanted that whole thing going on. So I understand what the whole show thing, but
yeah,
it's just like... Yeah. And yes, they did say Angel did the first thing. Is every girl Oliver cheated on Laurel's friend? Probably. That's probably how he met them.
Hey Laurel, let me borrow your phone for a second. Let me just write down all your contacts. I don't know. It's just
Exactly.
like,
That is how. Well, that's how most times it is. You're around the friend all the time, or you're around the sister all the time of your girlfriend or boyfriend and stuff like that. And that's how most of the time it's lit. More not it's someone you know. When you get cheated on, it's someone you know.
yeah, Angel does say, how does Felicity go from barely being able to walk to walking easily out the door? There's a bit of a stumble to it, but yeah, she just walked, but she shouldn't
I
have.
do find it funny. I did thought that almost thought the same thing, but she was wearing heels. I mean, seriously, if you're just starting to walking in heels is probably not the best thing.
Mm-mm. She should have kicked the shoes off first.
I know, right?
Uh, but I don't know. Ollie ended up having to drop out of the campaign, which, if they waited a little bit on that, I don't think he would have had to.
No.
But through all of that, they ended up getting William back, which that whole battle and reconnaissance mission was just incredible. I loved it.
Well, now that he's dropped out, who knows? He might actually go back in now that Dark doesn't have this power anymore. He
Hmm.
really doesn't have anything over Ollie anymore. So what's going to happen with his wife? Is she going to drop out? What's going on? Because there's no reason for her to even really be in this anymore. Well, I mean, there
We don't
is, but
know.
isn't.
We
But
don't know because apparently getting her in office was part of the plan the whole time,
mhm.
right?
But
We
he
thought
doesn't
it
have his
wasn't,
power.
but it
He
is.
doesn't have his Jedi mind trick power anymore. So
Right, but we don't
that's
even know
gonna
if
put
that's part of the plan.
huge. Well, I know, but that was his power over those people. I mean, especially look at last week when he was in the boardroom. He fucking force struck the guy through the TV.
It's true, but
He
they
can't.
don't necessarily know that his powers are gone, so he might be able to get away with it for a little while.
Well, I was gonna say a little while,
Yeah.
but it's not
So
going to.
the idol itself was a Cruciu idol, that is connected to the Earth's ley lines. That's how it drew its power. So I'm curious what other artifacts are out there. Because we have Mari's totem. Her necklace now. We have this Cruciu idol.
Hmm. I mean, and then of course we have. I mean, if you want to go, really, I mean, we seen Vandal Savage and his totems. He has the dagger, and that's considered a totem. And then there's um what is his name? The angel.
Carter.
No, the angel, not the Hawkman. He's in hell.
Oh, he's not an angel. Is he an angel?
Yeah, he's
John
an angel.
Constantine? I didn't think he was an angel.
Yeah, he's a fallen angel. Um,
I thought he got his powers
Whatever.
from an angel. I don't know.
But anyways, he has, of course, you've seen in Flashback, he has the idol of what was it, Raw or Horse? I can't remember which one it
Yeah,
was.
which they
So he
they
has
dropped
it.
him. They name dropped him this episode, and they're like,
Mhm.
no, he's literally in hell
He's
right
in
now.
hell. But yes, so there is idols floating around, and like all. I don't know if there's any idols floating around in Flash, but I know there's idols
Not
floating around
currently,
on
no.
Legends of Tomorrow, and there's floating around here. So
Yeah. So I like the name drop of Constantine because we know Constantine is going to be in season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow. So to keep some kind of tie over him, other than just that one episode that he was in, it was like episode 4 or something like that he was in an Arrow. Just to keep his name and keep everything alive with it is really
well,
cool.
realistically, it was a good show, but I don't think people were ready for it. I think it was just too much of
Well,
a thing.
I liked the first episode of Constantine,
Mhm.
and then that was the pilot, and then the girl that they got backed out of it after filming it. So when the show ended up getting picked up, they didn't have access to her anymore. And the way she ended the first episode is she walked out, and the second episode was going to be him going back and like getting her back. But since she walked out of the show and the pilot was over, they just went in a different direction. So it
Well,
didn't
they
have
could
the
have did what they
dynamic
did
of the
in
two of them
Arrow.
anymore.
I mean, hello. If anyone remembers, I remember this when they first showed to Sarah. She was a brunette
Right.
in the first episode, and then they switched to who Sarah is now. And I caught that, and I was like, "Wait a minute, she looked different in the first episode you see her in."
Mm.
So it was a different girl. But people probably they thought it was spaced out enough that people wouldn't really remember. But since I was binge watching it, I kind of
Yeah.
remembered.
Yeah, well, it's a little different when it's back-to-back episodes. So
Mm-hmm.
they just decide to go a completely different route. I watched the second episode of
Mm-hmm.
Constantine, and it didn't have the same vibe to it. I didn't enjoy it as much. They scrapped a lot of the even just like plot line that they had with the magic and stuff. They went a completely
It just
different
kind of
route
sucks
with
when they
it.
have to scrap the main.
Yeah. So
So I mean,
I
it
moved
had
on.
good
I'll probably
potential.
go back to it at some point now that it's technically, officially part
Mm-hmm.
of the DC TV verse. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So it's one of those things. I mean, I love the actor that plays him, and I love when he comes up. Just he's like I don't know. I just love
yeah,
him.
yeah. Angel, I think a lot of people also weren't aware of
Yeah,
Constantine. I feel the same way. So
well, it's one of those shows that no one really
yeah.
they didn't. I mean, they didn't advertise very well.
But the last time we had seen William, before Arrow, he was on episode of The Flash, and what was The Flash? Maybe it was the Arrow
It was the
crossover.
Arrow Flash crossover.
Yeah, it was either on Flash or Arrow. It was during the last crossover that they had
Mm-hmm.
when Ollie goes and meets the kid, and the
Mm-hmm.
kid's like obsessed over the Flash action figure.
Mm-hmm. That
So
annoying.
this
I
time
do love the.
around, after the Green Arrow saved him, he's just like, nah, I'm over the Flash. I want a Green Arrow action figure now.
Well, I do like the fact that Mario was sniffing the Flash. He goes, "If you tell Barry ugly," and she's sniffing his head.
She was all but making out with that thing.
You know, it was hilarious.
Yeah,
It was
but
funny. I mean, I can still, even though I haven't watched the Flash, I can still keep up with some of the stuff. I understand what's going on, but
right.
it's still funny. I love the little nods to different things.
Yeah. So William's no longer obsessed with the Flash. Now he's obsessed with the Green Arrow. We see him with the action figure. When they take William's statement, though, they said that it was a one-armed man that took him. So it wasn't, in fact, Dark. So they don't really have much on Dark right now to keep him locked away.
It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man.
Basically. So it was Malcolm. So Thea gets, rips Malcolm a new one. He's
Why
like,
wouldn't she? He straight out lied to her face.
right, right. So he's basically like, I'd rather have a world in which you hated me
And our
and were
city.
safe than a world in which you loved me and were in danger or whatever,
I was
however he
like, it
worded
doesn't
it.
make any sense. I mean, seriously. I mean, I swear, okay, I can understand if like she worded something and he like weaseled his way out because it was a technicality in her question and his answer kind of thing. But she straight up asked him before if he had anything, if he told Dark. And he's like, nope. Like,
No,
seriously.
he said no. I'm not going to answer that question. So he didn't exactly lie. He just told her, I'm not going to tell you, which is basically admitting,
No, he's like, I thought you knew me better than that.
yeah,
Well, she does, and she should have thought, and she totally believed him. I'm like, you know him better than that.
yeah,
You seriously do. You know what kind of a tool that he can be.
yep. So Malcolm's not really in a good place right now. Thea was like the only one like holding on to him being a good person. She was the only one looking out for him, and now nobody likes him. And as soon as Oliver gets wind that it was Malcolm, which he kind of already has an idea, but when he gets confirmation from Thea, that's it. Malcolm, Ollie's gonna completely regret sparing his life at that point.
I know, and Thea was so right to just call him out. And he's like, she's just like pissed off, You were going to sacrifice my life for this power. And he's like, well, he's trying to backtrack. She's like, no matter what you say, Malcolm, it's not going to be the right answer.
Yeah,
Because there was no way Nessa was going to give him the power and the antidote. There's no way.
nope.
She would have rather, even though she likes Thea and she has nothing against Thea, she would have cracked that vial on the ground and watched it dissipate into the ground before giving it to him.
Yeah. And like they already have a rough enough relationship between the two of them, and then after everything that Ollie's been through, and then Mara comes with this. Mari comes with the solution of just like, hey, maybe being in your son's life isn't the best thing for him right now. Maybe you need to let him grow. This is what my parents did for me, and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it could work for you. So that's when Ollie's like, all right, he's thinking about it, and then we see him recording that video.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you
And
just got through telling Samantha that you're the Green Arrow. Now you're telling your son. I was like, wait a
not
second.
until he's 18.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that when he
Uh,
first blurted it out, and I was just like, what are you doing, Ollie? Like, he's a
I
kid.
had a
He's
feeling
going
it
to
was
run to school and be like, my dad's the Green Arrow. And then I was like,
I had a feeling it was going to be one of those videos that
yeah,
don't show until they're 18 or
time
whatnot.
capsule video.
Yeah. And even then, Felicity was pissed off at him. Well, you did it without telling me. Well, you know what? I'm sorry to say, I know you're a partner with him and everything, but it wasn't her decision.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things, even though you're with someone, when there's decisions that they make that you don't necessarily agree on, but that's best for them, and you have to agree. You just have to support them in that,
Right.
and that's a partnership.
Yep.
Her idea of a partnership is not realistic. Because
No.
even though when you come together, you're still separate people.
Right.
You still have separate issues. Just because you come together doesn't mean
Well,
you lose that
she
separate.
she did go, hey, you're his dad too. So she was like, no, you can help make some of the decisions. She realized she was wrong the first time around. She gets that, and this is Ollie's decision to kind of step away. So I think they're in a good place now. I think everything's exactly how it needs to be with that, and maybe
I think
William,
she's just making a big, big, big mistake.
yeah.
She's
Maybe
trying to.
William will grow up to be, the Green Arrow at some point. And now that we have this episode, kind of finished and wrapped up under our belt, knowing where William stands, going into the future and this week's Legends of Tomorrow, which airs tonight as we're recording this, looks into, what is it, Star City 2042 or something like that?
Something like that.
It's like 40 years... Or 2046,
So,
I think it is. It's 40 years into the future. Or 2036.
I don't remember.
2046, 30 years. I don't know. It's a number. It's in the future. It's a way away. So maybe Connor can be the Green Arrow,
Well, we already know that the one that we saw last night was Connor, and it's an African
Or
American.
Connor. I'm saying William.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe William could be Green Arrow. Yeah, African American will be Connor Hawk, which was Ollie's son in the comic book, so that's clearly not the path that they're going here. So Connor Hawk, if he is the Green Arrow, it seemed like he was just an arrow figure over there.
Yeah.
But there could be a Green Arrow as well. And when they mentioned Oliver Queen, when they mentioned Oliver, they didn't say Queen, but when they mentioned Oliver, he looks confused. Like he didn't realize, didn't know who they were talking about. So Oliver seems to not really be paired up with this guy so much.
I don't
so
think
maybe it's his son that is.
They seemed confused when they said, we're the legends and stuff like that, and that's when he seemed confused. He's like, I don't know any legends, so they might not exist in that timeline.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And think about what Connor's 10. Not Connor. William's like 10, 11.
Yep.
So when he's 18, 8 years from then, so what? That would be 2000. I don't know. Just like 2023 or some shit like that.
Maybe.
And so, in the timeline,
yeah.
It's quite possibly that William, at that time, he would have known because if his mom gave him the thing, he would have known by then. So, we don't know.
Yep. And then I guess the only thing left to talk about is the flashback, which, we get to see the military officer, I always forget his name, pull Oliver and company out of the cell. We see, what is it? Who is it? Is it Carter? Is that guy's name? I thought. What's that guy's name?
The dead guy?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
I thought his name was also Carter.
I thought it was something else, but
I don't know. I could be wrong.
Let's call him asshole.
Sure. We see him with white eyes, and he says, they were talking about Destiny before then. He goes, no, not Destiny. We We are much greater. So, we. I want to know what this we is. And then
It could just be the spirits.
he sees a symbol on Ollie. He goes, "Oh, you are worthy," and he dissipates and lets Ollie go into this big ass cave. We still don't see what's in it.
Mr. Jailer is, he knew it was going to happen. She was just like, "You would have let us all die." Well, duh.
Yeah, Conklin.
No shit, Sherlock.
Conklin.
That's
Yes.
it.
I knew it would begin with a C, and it kind of sounded like Carter. Conklin.
Yeah.
Thank you, Angel Cassidy. But I'm curious now what's in the cave. It's got to be some kind of mystical magical. It's probably the magical artifacts. That's probably what unleashes this out into the world.
It might be a temple because it opens up into like a big crevasse kind of.
Yeah.
There might be a temple underneath there.
I wonder if this is where the Crucio idol comes from.
It might.
You know? Aubrey James Felicity is a selfish bitch. She certainly is. Certainly is.
All the angerness.
Hmm?
All the angerness coming from here. I was also pissed off at Samantha for being all mad at Ollie when it really wasn't Ollie's fault.
I was less mad at Samantha because she came around in the end, but Felicity, I never stopped being mad at. So, but yeah, so Arrow is going on a break. We're going on a 4-week break, and the show will return Wednesday, March 23rd. So, pretty much a full month.
Oh my god. Oh, wait, I'm going to write that down.
And the episode is called Broken Hearts. We really don't have a synopsis other than all is fair in love and war when Arrow returns. In the preview, it just saw Oliver saying something like, it's a little unfair that I can't keep my relationship together, much less a city. Something along those lines. So we don't see much out of it at all. We see Dark behind bars. And, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Oliver and Sarah. No, Sarah is on the league. I don't see that's a volatile relationship there. I don't see that anything more than sex on that one. But I don't know. Felicity just has to realize there's some things or sometimes he keeps secrets just like anyone else to keep his loved ones safe. And he will. I mean, it's not like he probably. There would have come a time where he would have told Felicity, and he wanted to tell Felicity about William, but she just has to realize that sometimes there's things that just can't be told at that specific time.
Yeah, I don't know. She's a bit of a hypocrite. She's kept her own secrets, so.
I was going to say, she's kept her own secrets about things, and so,
Angel, Cassidy, and Chess says, did Felicity forget that she kept the fact that she was working with Team Arrow behind his back? She's not exactly innocent when it comes to secrets. Hashtag hypocrite. So. Yep. Well, you have anything else before we wrap this up?
No, I'm kind of mad what's going on break.
Yeah, I know. I think the purpose of
other shows are coming back, so.
Yeah, I think the purpose of the break is it's gonna hopefully catch up Legends Tomorrow, because Legends Tomorrow is supposed to be a full 22, 23 episode series, and they're only on like episode 5, 6 right now. So if they want to end anywhere close to Flash and Arrow, there needs to be a little break on them. So. This will buy us a couple episodes. This will get us up to like episode 10 or 11 for Legends of Tomorrow, and then they'll kind of be right around that number.
Watch my stupid theory of having a 3-part season finale.
Maybe.
Oh God, I would be like all the shows. Holy crap.
Maybe they'll tie Supergirl in too.
I don't know, right? And then I don't know if they did a 3-part. We might have to do Flash, Arrow, and Legends all in one podcast. Who knows? Because otherwise, we're just going to get different parts all throughout. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And she Aubrey James, Ray Palmer as the Atom. She also kept that a secret. So, she's got a lot of secrets under her belt. That about ends our show. Rachel, where can the people find you?
They can find me at Twitter at Savannah17, on Twitch at Savannah, which hopefully I'll be playing Dragon Age.
Yeah. You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM.
I can't. I have to.
Why, thank you. With the complete lack of absence with Clio there. You can find Clio at Clio Moto on the socials as Twitter and Pinterest and things like that. So
she's on Pinterest. She pins all the things.
Pin everything. You can also find all of us and more on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, Space. Excuse me. And right here on YouTube at /ASO TV Podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Until March 24th for Arrow. We'll see you guys later. And for the DC TV verse, we'll see you guys on Monday for our Legends of Tomorrow podcast. Laters.
All the women.
So angry.
I know. I don't want to be angry anymore.